Okay, go for it, budding psychologist. What's the definition of stress?
How you, well, I'm not gonna
Life.
I mean, how you interpret outside.
That right there. That's a stressor.
That's a stressor. Yeah. I think everybody interprets it differently.
I agree. What's your definition?
How stuff affects you.
Okay, what's your definition?
What makes your heart beat a little fast, usually.
Okay, so I'll take that one. What's yours? Don't read that. That's cheating. These are just words.
When you think of a lot of things to just, like she said, when you feel like you have that adrenaline in you.
Right. So y'all kind of said the same thing, and this is saying the same thing too. This is just more of a formal word definition of it. Stress is a physical, mental, or emotional response to events that cause bodily or mental tension. Stress is an outside force or event that has an effect on our body or mind. Now remember that it is an outside force, okay? Because I'm going to stress that tremendously throughout this talk, okay? I did not write this about you, okay? Don't think I did. All right. We're going to go through some tips that are going to help hopefully reduce the stress and increase the relaxation. Okay, the first thing you have to do is you have to identify the sources of your stress in your life. Now you really have to identify them because it's not always as easy as it sounds. Sometimes you think you're stressed out about one thing, but it's really something else. If you're stressed out about, let's say, your morning routine, and you come to me and you say, I really need some help, I'm stressed out about my morning routine, well, it turns out it's not really your morning routine, it's that you're a procrastinator and you're not getting everything done. So it's the procrastination. It's the procrastination that is stressing you out. It's not your morning routine. So once you're able to define it a little bit better, then you can get your help. You have to look at your habits, attitudes, and excuses, okay? Do you explain away stress as temporary? Does anyone do that? Oh, I just have a million things to do going on right now, even though you always have a million things to do? Do you define stress as it's just there? Oh, this is just how my life is right now? Do you blame your stress on other people or things?
Yes.
Okay. Until you accept responsibility for the role you play in creating or maintaining your stress, it will never go away and it will remain outside your control. Come on in. What we're going to learn here, hopefully, is that how you react to situations is how you de-stress, okay? One suggestion I have, which we don't have to do, it's just a suggestion, is start a stress journal. It can help you identify ways, and I know if you're already really stressed out, you're gonna say, well, I don't need one more thing to stress me out. But sometimes when you stop and you take a minute, you realize that you need one more thing, because if you can actually really identify what your stress is, you won't be so stressed out. Okay? Write down what caused your stress. How did it make you feel, both physically and emotionally? That's another thing we're going to talk about. Stress affects your body, your mind, and your spirit. It affects everything. Some people get migraines. Some people get pain in their body. Does stress affect anyone physically? Yeah, it does. I mean, I used to grind my teeth when I was done with the semester in school, and that was all my stress just coming out. I bottled it up for an entire semester, and after that was done, my body was just completely falling down. So stress affects us physically. Okay, Let's look how you currently cope with stress. Your stress journal. I know not everyone can do that, but we need to start looking at ways. Tell me, before I go to the next slide, tell me some ways that are good with handling stress.
Exercise.
Exercise, okay, that's a great one.
Massage.
What?
Massage for the tension.
Okay.
Temporarily remove yourself from the situation if you can.
Can you?
Okay.
No, like when my kids are stressing me out, I walk out onto the patio.
Right.
For me,
Right. An adult timeout.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Put your brain on
Okay.
the shelf.
What are some negative ways? What are some no-nos? Drinking,
Screaming.
screaming.
I'm not always negative.
What are some other ones?
Any physical.
Anything physical, yeah.
In a negative.
Except in the exercising, because the exercising, if you want to get physical, do a kickboxing class or get a punching bag, and put that person right on there. Okay, you guys got it. Unhealthy ways: drinking, smoking, weight loss, weight gain, taking it out on others, avoidance, and procrastination. Those are just a few. I don't want anyone to think that those are all of the negative ways. Those are just a
Do you
few.
consider eating an unhealthy way to deal with stress?
Of course.
Do you?
Sometimes.
See, the difference between a healthy and unhealthy way is the unhealthy way is only going to help short term. Okay, hold on one second. If you find a healthy way, it's going to actually get the stress out. You need to get the stress out. If you eat, you're going to feel something about it later. Oh, I shouldn't have done that, and then you're going to be stressed about that. So it's a temporary. Yeah, I'm sorry. I know her really well. Okay, go.
What about
Sleeping, that's one of the things I'm going to talk about. Getting enough sleep is a very, very healthy. Everyone has a different amount of sleep that they have, right? Like I know I need 8 hours. Does anyone need? Does anyone need less than 8 hours? And,
Seven's like my magic number. If I get
Right.
more than 7, I'm overtired.
okay. Do you guys know your how much sleep you need?
I think it's about 7 or 8. I'm going 5 maybe a day.
Sleeping.
Hours? That's all you need?
No, you can attest to my husband. If I do not get 8 hours of sleep, I am not a happy camper. So I know that I make sure everything in my life is situated around how much sleep I get. Now, if you sleep to avoid stress, that falls under the umbrella of avoidance. Okay, there's a difference.
For example, you're going through stress, and then you're stressed out, so you just go to sleep.
Does the stress go away after you wake up?
No.
No. I'm being serious. Does it go away?
No.
Okay, then it doesn't work. So here's the trick. Okay, if you do anything, and the stress is still there, what you're doing is not the right thing for you. You need to find something else.
Yeah, does it ever really go away?
It does.
When?
Oh no.
Well, okay, you're pregnant right now.
I know, I feel like that all the time.
So it's a little hard. It's a little hard to say that to you, but you need to find. I'm gonna go through some techniques on what you actually do, but you actually have to change who you are and how you deal with situations in order for the stress to really go away. Okay? Which are called, for me and for you, the 4 A's. Okay? Avoid, alter, adapt, or accept. Okay? 2 of them deal with changing the situation, and 2 of them deal with changing your reactions. Those are the only 2 things that we as humans can do. We can't change other people. We can't change life. We can't change that. We can change the situation, or we can change how we react. When we try to do other things, It leads to us being angry, upset, and stressed out, and eating or sleeping or doing whatever. So in change the situation, it's avoid the stressor and alter the stressor, okay? Change your reaction is adapt to the stressor or accept the stressor.
So I have a question. So how would, well, give me an example of alter.
Get rid of your.
I'm getting there.
Oh, you're okay. Sorry,
I'm getting there. Whoops. Okay. Obviously, not all stress can be avoided, right? We can't avoid them, but what we can do is we can change how we react in the situations. Learn how to say no.
Yeah, right.
Right? I coined a phrase, and if I don't trademark it, I'm just going to kill myself. When you say yes to others, you say no to yourself. Okay? The more you only have, and I see this as our bodies as 100%. When you have 100%, and you're giving to your kids, you're giving to your job, you're giving to, you're all women here, you're giving to the men in your life. Well, he doesn't count. He's just you're giving. How much do you think, percentage-wise, that you should keep for yourself? 50? At least. Do you really believe that?
You should. I'm not
You
saying
should.
I do.
And I believe that. You should reserve 50.
Oh, that's right now.
More is not realistic. That's one of those things that lead to stress, because you're saying, okay, well today, I'm going to give 75% of myself to me. That's not realistic. 50% is tough, but that's really what you should shoot for. And honestly, I am an average kind of person. It's not 50% every day. It is 50% over an average. You can do it for a week. So how do you do that? You learn to say no, okay? You have limits, and you stick to them. You avoid people who stress you out. If you have this one person that is constantly stressing you out, you need to limit the amount of time that you spend with them, okay? It's not going to change. It might change if you step away from it for a little bit and figure out exactly how you can handle it better.
What if you can't avoid them though? Like if it's your boss or your children.
You can,
Negative Nellies.
you can take time out from everybody. You know that. You can take time outs from everybody. You can even take a time out from yourself. But you don't have to be in your boss's proximity every single minute of the day. Yes, that is your boss, and they have demands on you, but you can learn in your mind to alter to the situation so it doesn't affect you so much. Take control of your environment. This is what I do. I can't stand watching the evening news, especially the local news. It just drives me crazy. I love listening to the news, but I watch it online. I do not like watching the TV. If you have something that stresses you out and you can eliminate it, eliminate it. Avoid hot button topics, especially with people that already stress you out. Okay? If you go into a room, what are the hot button topics? Religion, sex, sometimes money, politics. Those are the hot button topics. If you already know somebody is like that, don't engage with them with those topics. I mean, absolutely would never, ever, ever get into those conversations with people, because there's no win. There's just no win with that. Pare down your to-do list. Okay? Shoulds and musts. Everything is not a must. Right? We've learned that. Everything is not a must. There are shoulds and there are musts. Okay, now we're going to alter the situation. If you can't avoid it, because you're right, you can't just leave work every time something stresses you out. Try to alter it. Figure out what you can do to change things so the problem doesn't always happen. Often, this involves changing the way you communicate and operate. Okay? Express your feelings instead of bottling them up. That means assertively. That doesn't mean passive-aggressively. Okay? Because when we bottle things up, that what passive-aggressive is. When we bottle them up, and then all of a sudden we explode on somebody, that's because we don't tell them how we feel all the time. You know, you'd be surprised how open people are to hearing what you have to say if you tell them something in a calm way, much more than yelling at them. Be willing to compromise. If you know somebody's not going to change your behavior and you're okay with changing it, go ahead. What's the big deal? You know, there's no winning in being right. You know, it's if the other person needs to be right, let them be right. Let them have the last word. You know, it's not a big deal. Be assertive. Don't take a back seat in your own life. Don't let other people decide what's important to you. That's up to you to decide. And it's a huge one. You need to manage your time. You need time management. You need to know when you need to get up in the morning. You need to know, like me, when I need to eat, when I need to sleep. All these things, my body tells me. My physical body tells me, okay, time to eat. I'm getting irritable. I'm gonna get stressed out in just a little bit if I don't eat. That's me. It doesn't affect everyone the same way. Just like someone over here said, stress does not affect everyone the same way. Go ahead.
Just a question from the previous slide to that one. Deciding between avoiding versus altering. A stressor for me is if I have a conflict with a particular person. A lot of times the conflict for me is first just deciding, well, do I avoid the situation and not talk about it, or do I talk about it in a healthy way? And sometimes just that element alone, trying to figure out which way to go, is more stressful than the situation itself. So how do you deal with that?
You have to realize it's not that big of a deal. Talk to the person. My thing would be talk to the person. If that doesn't work and you've tried it a few times, which I'm sure you've already had, then alter the situation. Because if you can't engage with the person, then it's time to step back and change your relationship with them. So do the assertive thing first, and then do the alter thing. Because by the end of the day, it's about you. It's not about them. But they seem to think it is. It's not. How you deal with your body and your mind and your spirit is completely 100% up to you. It's not up to anybody else. You get to decide what's right and what's wrong for you. Even bosses, kids, husbands, you know, it's you get to decide. I know you're like, oh, okay, but no, I'm serious. You get to decide. How do you adapt? Okay, if you can't change it, change yourself. If you can adapt to a stressful situation and regain your sense of control, can you change your expectations in that situation? Can you go back into it? I don't know. Has anyone ever had an experience where they felt that they've embarrassed themselves so much that they just leave the situation? Yeah? Yeah. Okay. Reframe problems. Now it's hard to do this after you've already been so stressed out that the passive aggressive yelling, screaming has come out. So this all needs to happen before. Okay? Reframe problems. Try to view stressful situations in a more positive perspective. If you're in a traffic jam, you know, and you're so annoyed that you're going to be late and this and that, I'm very grateful that it's not me. You know, I don't get upset in traffic jams. It's not, I mean, when I pass by that and I see that car, I'm so thankful that it's just me and my time. because it's not that important. Nothing is that important. Look at the big picture. I am a believer that everyone needs to do something sort of stressful in their lives in order to be able to handle more. Everyone can only handle what they can handle. And no one person is the same. You can meet somebody that can handle 50 things at one time. You can meet somebody that can't even handle one thing at one time. The more life experience you have, the easier it is to handle things. So get out there, volunteer, do something, learn something. You know, when we stay very closed, we're not able to handle situations very well. Adjust your standards. This is what I still need to work on. Very, very much. Perfectionism is a major source of avoidable stress. Stop setting yourself up for failure by demanding perfection. Set reasonable standards for yourself and others and learn how to be okay with good enough. Who struggles with this besides me? It's a constant. I'm not even sure why. I know something's going to be a certain way, and it's constant irritation. Why do we do this to ourselves? We don't need to. Now, do I believe that you should lower your own standard for somebody else? Absolutely not. But I think that you need to be realistic with other people's standards. If somebody is, there are early people, on-time people, and late people. That's just how we're cut out. If you are an early person and you are always with a late person, there's always going to be a little conflict there, because we're wired that way. We are. You're early, you're late. You're always going to want that late person to be earlier, and that late person is always going to want that earlier person to be later.
To wait.
You have to compromise. You have to find a middle ground. You can't keep on expecting somebody to change or something to change with the same situation over and over and over again. There is at some point where your mind has to compromise to the situation.
But how can you say that being early is rude and offensive versus being
Who's
late?
saying that?
Just in general, like I'm saying.
I'm not saying that.
Right.
I think it's
To
polite.
make someone who's always early say, okay, you now have to be willing to be a little bit late.
This is not about what's right and wrong for society. This is how you need to reduce your stress. If you're constantly angry or constantly stressed out about one thing, you need to change your expectation about it and be okay with someone being late. Just like I used to go out with people, I would tell everyone to say at different times. Everyone got a different time. I was always early. I was always the first one. But everyone, that's how people are wired. Is it wrong? No. Does it get some people into trouble if they're late?
So
yes.
Is there a compromise? The fact that you told different times to different people? What is that?
That's my compromise. I got everyone there when I wanted them there. That's me being assertive.
Oh, okay.
Focus on the positive. Please. Focus on the positive. When stress is getting you down, think about the things that are happy in your life. I don't know if you guys are writers, talkers, but it's good to always have something in place when you're so stressed out and life is so stressed out that you can look at it. Whether it's pictures, you can look at pictures, or you can just take 2 minutes and be like, okay, things are not really so bad. This is not that big of a deal. Accept the things that you can't change. Okay, some stresses are unavoidable, right? You can't prevent or change a stressor, such as the death of a loved one or a serious illness. But what you can do is accept it as being difficult. Okay, there's got to be some sort of acceptance in you. It's much easier than rallying against a situation you can't change. And how do you do that? Don't try to control the uncontrollable. Don't try to change something that you can't change. If every day you wake up and you try to change something or somebody to meet your needs, you're going to be angry and frustrated and stressed out. It just doesn't work. Look for the upside. I am a 100% believer in always being the better person. It makes you a better person. So what if someone gets the last word? So what if someone gets to the light 2 seconds ahead of you? You know, so what? I mean, it really, in the big picture of life, it doesn't matter. Share your feelings. Talk to somebody. And I'm not necessarily talking about just venting. You know, if you have two friends of equalness and you both have things going on, equally talk. You know, let people know what's going on. And really, if something is really going on, then it might be time to talk to a therapist. This last one is hard. Learn to forgive. It's a very hard skill. Very hard. And it's not one that a lot of people are able to do. People can forget much easier than they can forgive. So I'm not going to tell anybody that they have to do this, but it's definitely helpful when you don't have that anger in you and you forgive, you have more room for other things in your life. So that is a tough one though. Okay, you gotta make time for fun and relaxation. You really do. You gotta take a charge approach, and you gotta find time to relax. If we're saying that we get 50% of us, that's what that means. That means that we need to find time for ourselves. You know, busy work, life, kids, spouses, relationships. I know. I'm doing it too. But in order to calm yourself down, you need to find time for you. You need to set aside time for relaxation. I don't care if it's 5 minutes. I don't care if it's that. If you're at work and you are so stressed out that you feel like you're gonna explode, that's time for you to take a walk around the building. Okay? We talked about exercise being a healthy timeout. Take a walk. You know, just pump it out. You know, you don't have to sweat or anything. Take a walk. Connect with others. And I don't mean online. Online is great. Facebook, social media. It's wonderful stuff, but there is nothing more important than actual friendships. There is a difference. Okay? Do something you enjoy every day. Okay? It doesn't need to be by yourself, but do something you enjoy every day. Okay? Adopt a healthy lifestyle. I don't believe that you can be an effective handler of stress if you're not healthy. And we're talking mind, we're talking body, and we're talking spirit. Because if you're not okay with who you are, you're not able to project anything out that's positive, and everything will bother you. Exercise. Like, exercise means different things to different people. I could care less what you do, but exercising is healthy. If you want to, just exercise with your kids, or play kickball, or join a team, or do something that's fun. Okay? Eat healthy. Okay? What we eat is how we fuel our energy, especially in the morning. We need to eat healthy in order to be able to do this. I know this is a hard one. Reduce caffeine and sugar. Okay? That high that we get is temporary. And just like I said about stress, if it's there when you try your stress technique, then it's not working. Okay? Maybe avoid is a strong word, but alcohol, cigarettes, and drugs are not an answer. Okay, if you need to either drink or smoke or do any sort of drug, if you need to do it because you're stressed out, then you're saying, oh well, I'm just going to go out and get slobbered tonight, because I just can't handle life. That's a problem. That's not going to solve your problem. If you want to go out and have fun and have a few drinks or whatever, and you're saying that you want to do it, there's a big difference. Does everyone get the difference in that? Yeah, because I'm not saying that it's wrong that somebody's going to tell me, oh, well, you told me, I could never have a drink again. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that you don't use it. If you're going to use it, don't do it.
So for people who say, I'm going to unwind at the end of the day with a glass of wine,
does it help?
I'm not me. I'm
okay.
Someone in my house.
Okay.
My house.
But see, that's the answer. Does it help? If it helps, one glass of wine is fine. Because I used to work in drug and alcohol. Sometimes one glass turns into two turns into three, then it turns into a bottle, then it turns into 2 bottles. Because they're not doing anything else to manage their stress. They're using that glass of wine in order. They're like, okay, yeah, the kids are asleep. Okay, I can. Let's just open up the cork before the kids go to sleep. I mean, you have to do it in moderation. Is it okay? Yes. Is that the only way that you should manage your stress? Absolutely not, because it's not going to be enough. And the last one is get enough sleep. Really, really, really need to get enough sleep. At least for me. I don't know about you guys, but sleep is very, very, very important. Okay. Does anyone have any more questions? Go for it.
Brings up the PowerPoint. I actually have a question. With all of these suggestions of dealing with stress, when you're in the actual present, when you're in the moment, and you're trying to be mindful of all of this, how do you bring it into any particular moment that's stressing you out? The ones where it's sort of like you have to think on your feet, and you have to decide, am I going to let this stress me out? Am I going to handle this in a more healthy way?
Okay, let's go back. You're going to think about those 4 A's. Okay, because really everything I said tonight just boils down to those. That's all you can do. Change the situation or change your reaction. That's really, it's simple. I know it's not simple at all. But avoid, alter, or adapt, accept. You have to decide which one's right for you.
But you're saying that if the stressor is an actual person, then you have to go to change your reaction because you can't change the person at all.
Absolutely.
The first 2 are not an option if it's a person.
No. Does that make sense to everyone? Because everything I said pretty much just boils down to that. Really.
So it's something that there's no changing and you immediately goes into reaction.
Such as?
Then you can change.
You need to change.
Right. So if it's something that it's not going to change at all ever, then you would have to change your reaction.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. No, it's not easy.
Right.
And then that's what it leads to continually getting frustrated because you go to the same situation and you want a different result. You can't. You have to change. You have to change how you are about it. Anything else? Okay, I'm going to introduce Matt, the other Matt. It's my husband, Matt. He is going to help you a little bit further with the whole, well, I'll let him decide how he's going to say. Let me just sorry.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Jen, and I would love to see that PowerPoint all the way through. That's pretty cool.
Well, yeah, it's going to be on my website.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Well, good evening, everybody. How you doing?
Good.
Nice to meet you.
Good, thanks. So, as Jim said, I'm a yoga instructor. I'm also an exercise scientist. So, when everything she said, top notch, I have 2 thumbs up for all that. As far as the nutrition goes, please make sure it's, living foods, fruits, vegetables that you're including in that healthy part of it. You really need all those antioxidants to battle all the free radicals that are going on in that stressful situation you have. So from that standpoint, let's go into the nervous system, where you have your efferent and afferent neurons. Efferent neurons, they go away from the brain. So anything that the brain says signals down into the body, okay? So if you're perceiving a stressor, the brain hypothalamus is going to send out a hormone to the pituitary gland, which is going to send it down into your adrenal glands, and you're going to produce cortisol and epinephrine, and you're going to get worked up, okay? Now in moderate doses, this is a good thing. Cortisol actually helps you metabolize your fats and your sugars and your proteins. So, hey, it's good. That's why exercise in moderation is awesome.
One question, so that's why when you're stressed out, you lose weight or something like that?
Yes and no. Sometimes when you're stressed out, you don't always eat. You don't always listen to your body's natural mechanisms too. So yeah.
Oh, okay.
On that side of things, there are a lot of other variables in it. Okay. So that's efferent. Anything coming from the brain going to the body. Okay. Then we have afferent that goes up to the brain. So whether it's a stimulus, we step on a tack. When you step on a tack, there's a pressure signal that goes up to your brain that says, get off of the tack. You also have things in your body that you can control, such as your breathing, okay? Breathing is one of those things it's very peculiar because it's a voluntary and involuntary mechanism. Voluntary, we take it for granted, it just happens all the time. When we're sleeping, when we're walking around, reading, doesn't matter. You don't have to think about it, it takes care of itself. Because it's that way, it is subject to all the stress that we go through. The brain will tell it, just like the brain tells every other mechanism, other organ in the body, what to do. So in a stressful situation, what happens? We start breathing rapidly. Our heart rate goes up, okay? You can control it the other way. You can slow your breathing down. You can take 10 seconds to breathe. And in doing so, you reset the fight or flight into more of a suppressed, relaxed response. Okay? So breathing is top notch. That's where you're going to be able to start to recognize and be mindful of all of the techniques in the situation. So if you're allowing yourself to breathe normally and you develop a practice, take that 5 minutes and relax, and you're used to breathing that way, it'll be something that comes second nature because it's a healthy habit that you formed. So I want to practice some breathing with you, and if you don't mind, let's stand up, let's alter our physical situation. So while you're standing, take a moment to be mindful of your presence. How are you lining up your body? Where is your weight? If you can, if you're wearing heels, maybe take them off and get on the flat floor. But your weight should be in your heels more often than in your toes. Your shoulders are back and you can slightly bend your knees. All right? Whether your eyes are open or not, the breath is going to flow in through the nostrils, and you're going to just notice the breath. That's the first part of connecting into your body. It's just noticing what's going on with you. So often our mind is here, there, outside of ourselves. We need to bring it back in order to really control and connect. The second part is to start to elongate the breath. Take as long of a breath as you can, in through the nose, and out comfortably. If you want to really access it, feel your abdomen expanding outward and contracting inward. So just a relaxed breath on its own is a great way to de-stress. And if you start to really access the full breath from your abdomen up through the rib cage all the way into the chest, it's a very life-giving kind of thing. You need all that oxygen, right? So before we get into a big breath, let's roll the shoulders back. Really open yourself up a little bit. Good. You can inhale with the shoulders up, exhale, shoulders down. Good. Relax the arms. And just let the breath come into the body again, expanding through the abdomen, up through the chest, and letting it out slowly. The body works best in a semi-alkaline pH, meaning that if you look at pH from a neutral perspective, it's at 7. Our blood is around 7.4. Anything above 7 is alkaline, anything below it is acidic. So hydrochloric acid is around 2. All right, that's the way you look at it. When we take shallow breaths, we're not allowing all the carbon dioxide out of the body. Carbon dioxide creates lots of acidity. When you exhale, focus on that exhale, you're allowing your body to come back to a normal pH through the blood, okay? You gotta remember, you're inhaling oxygen, your body's using that oxygen in its cells, we're producing waste products, and those waste products have to be eliminated. Most of them are eliminated through our breathing, okay? So just a normal breath, inhaling, exhaling as long as the inhale, maybe even longer as you do it. Okay, this is called the perfect breath because you're doing everything equal. Another one to try during the day if you're feeling like you need an energy boost or a pick-me-up, but you're not hungry, you're just kind of dull and you feel drained. It's called alternate nostril breathing. You literally will clog one nostril and then the other one. So we'll try this together. You take one hand, I like to use the knuckle just in case, I've been driving around, I haven't had time to wash my hands. So you cover one nostril, you inhale on one side, then you switch, exhale on the other side, inhale that side, switch, exhaling, inhale, and switch and exhale. And you continue back and forth, kind of like a volley or a tennis match. It is strange, it's something that not a lot of people practice. I mean, we practice tying our shoes, we practice riding our bikes, we practice all of our sports and brushing our teeth, but nobody ever told us, at least nobody ever told me when I was growing up, how to properly breathe. So when I first learned this, I'm like, wow, I'm getting high off of oxygen. It was pretty crazy, it really was. But it's allowed me to be in control of my state, my situation, my internal situation, okay? What you're doing with this alternate nostril breathing is you're affecting both hemispheres individually. So you're increasing blood flow to the right side when you're using your left nostril, and you're increasing blood flow to the left side using the right nostril. Okay, so you're able to help balance yourself out physically. Right? What else do I want to cover? Oh, we can sit down for this next one. So, similar to doing physical exercise and exerting yourself, you get the same benefits from breathing exercises where you're able to eliminate that stress of the day and kind of just let everything loosen up again. So there's a movement called Kapalabhati breathing. It's a fire breath. it's a fire breath because by the end of it, you're feeling it in here, and you might even be a little sweaty across the brow. Okay. So bear with me. You can choose to move the arms with you, or it can just be a breath from the abdomen. It's a rapid breath. Okay? It's focused on the exhale. It's almost like you're shooting a pea out of a little pole. So it's like very fast through your nostrils. You take a deep breath and you just rapidly go. Once you're done, you inhale. So you're putting yourself in a very stressful state. But by doing so, you're allowing your body to start to recognize that stressful state and understand that you can come out of it very rapidly on your own. Okay, so the more the body is attuned to certain things, that's why running is great, that's why all these other exercises are a great way to counter everything. Doing the rapid fire breath is a nice way as well. Okay.
That's to control the stress? That one you said?
That one you would use beforehand, like during the beginning of the day to wake up, or maybe after lunch when you're kind of feeling a little drowsy. Yeah, that one's a great way to combat stress. So you use it kind of like training day, and then when stress comes, you're like, okay, I've already got that rapid breath. Well, I can take a deep inhale and exhale and take that. All right. Anybody have any questions? Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Just try.